friends, and welcome to the Happy Hour with Jamie Ivey podcast. I'm your host, Jamie, and I'm really thrilled that you're here with me today. Every single week on the Happy Hour, I invite a girlfriend to join me on the show, and we chat about the big things in life, the little things in life, and basically everything in between. Today, I want to thank our sponsor, and that is Restore Women's Conference. Hey girls, you ever feel like you just need a weekend away to be refreshed? Hello, hand raised over here. Well, the Restore Women's Conference is the place for you. Invite your girlfriends, your sisters, or your mom to join the women here for a time of fellowship, learning, and laughter, or come on your own and connect with like-minded women seeking to renew their joy in the Lord. The conference is happening next March 3rd to March 5th in sunny Orange County, California. Restore is a weekend conference designed for women to experience God's grace and rest in an authentic and uplifting environment. Conference admission includes an unforgettable speaker lineup, including Allison Allen, Allie Worthington, who's going to be on the show soon, and me, guys. I'll be there too. You're going to have worship there, Bible journaling, holy yoga, 3 meals, swag bag, and access to their handmade market and mocktail social event. Girls, make sure to get your ticket before they're gone. You can go to restorewomensconference.com and use the promotional code HAPPYHOUR to get $50 off your admission. I seriously would love to meet you there and hug your neck, so the promotional code is good until the event sells out. For daily devotions and more information, follow at Restore Women's Conference on Instagram and Facebook, and we'll have those links for you on the webpage, jamieivey.com as well. Guys, today you're listening to episode number 105. Can you even believe it? 105, and we're in September. Welcome to September. My kids have been in school for 2 weeks, but some of your kids might just have started school this week. So congrats. You made it to September. The fall is upon us. Today, my guest is Christina Smallwood, who lives in California with her husband and daughter, Finley. Today, we chat a lot about her life with Finley, who has cerebral palsy. We also chat about adoption and parenting in the thick of things, dealing with loss, and of course, we're going to talk about our favorite TV shows as well. Guys, if you want to send me a message about anything from the show, I would love to hear from you. I love to hear what you loved. You can tell me what you didn't like as well, but I really love to hear what you love in the show. You can find me on Twitter. It's at Jamie_Ivey. And on Instagram, it's just at Jamie Ivey. All right, friends, here is my conversation with Christina. Hey, Christina, welcome to the Happy Hour.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. And the way I found out about you is my friend Kim Ellis, who runs Honeycomb Baby Goods, the teething necklaces.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She told me about you. And so, of course, like we do in 2016, you find the person on Instagram because that's what you do to find out about people. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so I went to your Instagram and just fell in love with you and your little girl. And yeah, so I'm just so happy to have you here.
Aw, thank you. I love her. She sent us like the cutest like necklaces and just had a really sweet note to go with it. So she definitely sticks out in my mind. I remember exactly who that is.
The necklaces are super sweet. And I'll just brag on Kim for a minute is that
they really are.
I mean, she is a stay-at-home mom, 3 kids, all under the age of 4, I think. The oldest Caleb is 4. And one of them is through foster care, and they are eventually going to adopt him, but he has special needs. And so she's just rocking it, and she just went and decided to make her own company. Anytime women do stuff like that, I just want to just hug them and tell them I'm so proud of you.
Oh, that's why I started the Instagram that I did, because I saw that all these moms were just like me, just wanting to help support their family and make a little bit of income. And I fell in love with small shops. So I have a huge heart for helping small shops.
And isn't that the best? Like I literally, just last night, someone told me about a new online boutique, and I'm like, thank you, because I do not like going to the store.
No, me either. I love shopping in my pajamas on my couch.
I know. And then you just go to the mailbox and there's the cutest little shirt.
And it's like Christmas every single day.
I know. My kids are like, Mom, you got something else today. I'm like, you know what? Every once in a while I get them something, so they're happy with it. It's the best. It's the best.
That's great.
Okay, so you are a wife and a mom. I don't really know much about your story, and so I would love to just hear. I do know that your daughter is 3. Is that right?
Yeah, she just turned 3. Three-nager. Yes.
I love that. She is so cute.
Oh, thank you. I know. I always say when people tell me she's cute, I always say, I know. Like, I can't take credit, but I
Yeah.
feel weird saying that. So sometimes I say thank you, but most of the time I say, I know. She is so cute, isn't
I know.
she?
I feel like that one of my, of course, I think all my kids are just the cutest, but I have four, and one of them who will remain nameless so that when they listen to this in
Oh
15
my
years, they won't feel
gosh.
like I loved or, thought more of them. But one of my kids is like super duper duper cute.
Oh my God.
But like I can take no credit for that because I didn't birth that child. And so I always am
Oh.
like, oh, I know, isn't he just so?
Oh, I didn't know you adopted too.
Yes,
That's so awesome.
so I have four kids, and my oldest is our only biological, and
Oh,
then the other
wow.
three, one is a domestic, and then two are from Haiti.
Wow. Okay, you know what? Maybe I do remember seeing that. I feel like I do actually. That's so
Yeah.
neat. I love it. Oh, that just makes me love you even more right
Yeah.
now.
So I'm in a different stage of life than you are. And
Hmm.
so my oldest is 12 and my youngest is 8.
Oh, yeah.
And so
Hmm.
I'm past the 3-year-old stuff. And a lot of my close girlfriends are still in the stage that you're in. And I just tell them all the time, like, cherish it. I know that's hard to say, but there will be one day when you'll be driving them to school at 6:40 in the morning to go to some kind of practice
Oh,
or something.
I can't even think. I just got this Fitbit because it's September
Uh,
starting today,
uh-huh.
and it tracked my sleep last night, and I saw that I actually did not get very good
Okay, wait.
sleep.
I didn't know it actually tracked your sleep too.
Yeah, like you can go in your sleep mode and it says like I slept soundly from like 12 to 2. So I'm like, oh, so according to my Fitbit, I got 2 hours of really good sleep last
That is
night.
so good to know, though.
I know. I'm like, oh wow, this thing's just doing everything for me. It tells me when people call me. I love it. I just got it. So
Okay, I've been wanting to take the leap, but I've been a little scared, but you love it.
I do love it. Yeah. I'm not like super techy. Like I'm good with my phone, but when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to like other devices, I usually am like a little like intimidated. So my one of my girlfriends had one and she gave me like a gift card to Amazon as part of her donation to my September
Uh-huh.
fundraiser. And so she's like, just get one. It's super easy. You don't have to do all these options. So yeah.
Okay, so
So I
tell me
got
about your
it.
fundraiser.
So
September, which is so cute. Did
well,
you make that up or is that
no, no, it's like an actual thing they do every September and it's you track your steps. So you can log in and to september.us and you can pick any charity you want to walk for. And so we have some strong ties with United for Cerebral Palsy because that's what my daughter's special needs is. And I just I am walking for them. This is my first year doing it. And so we'll see. I'm kind of curious just to see how many actual steps I take a day because my husband often tells me I walk in circles. So
but those count as steps, right?
I'm like, hey, yeah, let's see how many circles I really do walk in a day.
That's hilarious. Okay, so then do you go in and like donate based on your steps or how does
Well,
that work?
people can kind of sponsor me. So I'm gonna keep like really trying to promote this because I'm like, this is actually kind of fun because you get to do it. There's no pressure to raise any money. But if someone does decide, oh, you know what? You've had a lot of efforts this week. I'm gonna because you have to input how many steps you've actually taken.
Got it.
So people can kind of follow along, and I'm just kind of curious to see. But yeah, people can go on and sponsor you, or they can join, and then track their steps. And so I
Can
think
they
when you sign
join?
up they give you like a $30 if for $30 you can get like a step tracker. It's
Okay.
like just a bracelet. Yeah.
Okay. So this is gonna when this airs, it's September 7th. Is it too late to join then?
No, no. I think you can join up until the second week of September.
Okay, great. So I'll
Yeah.
put a link in the show notes as to how they can do that.
Sure. Yeah. I will. Yes, I have it on fifiandmo.com. I have a
Okay.
link to it. Yes.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so you said your daughter has cerebral palsy.
Yes.
When did you guys find out that she had cerebral palsy?
So, when she was born, she was 9 weeks early, and there's risks for all kind of developmental delays and different things. And we were quickly greeted with by a neurologist who was monitoring her brain in a routine ultrasound scan of her whole body post birth.
Because
They
she was so early, they did that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes. And they found out that there was a little bit of what they called debris in her brain. They didn't know what it was. They said it could be old blood, it could be new blood. There's just something in there, and it caused it's called intraventricular hemorrhage. So
Mm-hmm.
it caused brain bleeding. And if you Google brain bleeding early on, which obviously we were gonna go home and do, a lot of it is very, very stereotypical of the onset stages for cerebral palsy.
Okay.
Which is so hard to explain, CP, because it's such a huge umbrella.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, I've met people with cerebral palsy, and they are vastly different.
Yes. So there's so many different possibilities, and so it's just kind of a wait and see process, which so is adoption, as you know.
Yes.
So I feel like the whole theme of my adult life so far has been wait and see. And
that's not always that fun, is it?
No, it is not fun.
No.
I've definitely become accustomed. I was probably the most like impatient person you ever met. I remember when my husband and I first got married, I wanted a puppy, and I called so many different people off Craigslist, and I said, I want a puppy now. I want a puppy today.
Yes. And they're like, well, they'll be born in 6 weeks, and then you have to wait 6 weeks. Yeah.
Why do you want this puppy so badly? Are you going to do something bad to it?
Yes.
Exactly. My husband said I scared people away with my eagerness.
That's hilarious.
That's definitely not the case anymore.
Okay, so when your daughter was born, with cerebral palsy, it's not as though she was given that diagnosis right away.
No, they actually didn't even really want to diagnose her even after 15 months old.
Okay.
They didn't want to label her and put that on, and they said, she's gonna be delayed, so you can just choose to work with it, or you can choose to put a label on it. The pro of putting a label on it is you actually then will be you qualify to get services.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So now it's like, okay, it's sort of a catch-22. So but the sooner she gets these services, the sooner that she has a possibility of outgrowing, quote unquote, these symptoms.
Got
it. So I was like, you know what? I don't care. Words are words. What do I care at this point? You know?
So at 15
I just want her to do better.
You, when did she come home?
She came home after 5 weeks.
In the NICU?
Yes.
Okay. So that wasn't even her due date.
No, she was home with us over a month before we celebrated her due date.
That is so crazy. And so she comes home. And okay, do you know then that we're going to have some delays, or you just know that you had a newborn who was in the NICU?
I just knew I had a very fragile 5-pound baby that I didn't want anyone to come close to.
Do you remember when you first started feeling as though I think we're delayed in some areas?
Yeah. And during therapy, the first 3 months, they are pretty harsh. So they have this chart, and they go down the list.
Yes.
And after the review, she turned to me and she said, I know she's 5 months old, but she's testing at 0-month level in everything. And, some things she tested, 1 month. But I mean, for being 5 months old, I knew there was substantial delay. Yeah. And so I just kind of like cried a lot.
I was going to say, those are hard things to hear.
It was, because I had my friends with their 5-month-olds are typically developing 5-month-olds. And I saw that they were, kind of starting to sit up in the bumbo, and they were, getting ready to be spoon feeding, and baths were super fun, and they were doing all this fun stuff. And I was like over here still with like practically a newborn, you know?
Yeah.
And so I definitely started feeling the special needs mom isolation. And I just kept telling myself, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. Because I already sort of felt that just being the adoptive mom in general, with all my pregnant bellied friends all around me.
Yeah. So what was so scary about that, not wanting to be that special needs mom?
So, I mean, if I were to tell you my whole life story, you would learn that I'm like a super extremely social person. I was voted most likely to get a talk show in high school, and cheerleader, into every kind of extracurricular event. I'm just super social. So to me, one of my biggest fears is being isolated. And I'm a hairstylist, so I worked 50 hours a week in the salon. I was always talking with women. I identify with females, and it gives me it. I'm an extrovert, so I get my energy and I get all of my.
You get filled up by people.
Yeah, my love tank fills when I'm with people, and so isolating myself was just not going to be an option.
So
even though I wanted to, I would leave places sometimes in tears, like I can't believe I'm forcing myself to do this. I don't need to feel like this. But mostly as a mom, like I don't need to feel like I'm looking at my child as though they aren't equivalent to someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a common feeling that we
It
have.
is. It
And I
is.
do know my girlfriends that have kids with special needs. It is like triple time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because you're not just worried about, oh, then maybe they'll get made fun of for their name, or maybe they'll get made fun of because they don't like to do that. It's like, what if they never leave my house? What if they never have independence? What
Yeah.
if they can't do this on their own? Like it's like just like such a bigger picture that you're constantly worried about. It's like
Yeah.
those little things. I'm like my 3-year-old still has a pacifier. Okay, I don't even care.
Right. You're like, this is the least of my worries right here.
I'm like, please.
Yeah.
I'm like, you want to sit down and talk, okay? Because I get stares and looks all the time. I just don't even care. I just smile.
So how do you fight that? Like, how do you fight that feeling of I'm not going to isolate myself? Because I think a lot of moms in general, we're talking about with your motherhood journey here. I think a lot of moms would feel that way on different levels with different circumstances. How do you fight that?
Um, so for me, I started a Fifi and Mo. I didn't even tell my friends or my husband that I did it, and I just wanted to meet other moms like me, and that was pretty much my whole premise. And so, I did that secretively for about the first 6 months,
That's
and
hilarious, first of all, that you did it secretly.
I totally did. I mean, I know. And my friends started seeing it because Finley's pictures would get reposted and they'd be like, wait, what is this?
Right.
Like, oh, you have something. What did you do? And I'm just like, well, so I don't know how, like when I made the crossover, but what I just did is I told myself, if I get invited somewhere, I'm just going to go. And I don't care how hard it is and all the extra stuff I need to bring or, I'm trying to remember like one of the first play dates. I'm like, I'm just going to go. And if I get that look of pity from someone, I just need to get used to it because this is going to be our life.
Yeah.
So I just started saying yes. Like, oh, hey, we're going to the water park. Well, Finley couldn't sit up. So I'd bring her Bumbo. I'd bring an umbrella. I'd bring all these things. And it's like, and I loved that my friends weren't avoiding asking me to go either, because I see people do that. And I talk to a lot of special needs moms. So obviously I see that they're like, yeah, I saw they all went on this play date and I know I couldn't have gone, but they still didn't ask me. And you're sort of in this weird limbo, like you want to get asked, but you don't want to get asked at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's just a hard phase. It's just really, truly, it's torturous. And, wine got me through a lot of it. And I just took it one day at a time, truly. And I mean, I say surviving the day, and I know that probably makes me sound like a horrible mom, but it's true. Like you just survive each day kind of on those days where you feel like there's no wind in your sail,
Yeah. I love what you said too, but you just said yes.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's so scary sometimes to moms, but it is such a just first step. Like, I'm just going to say yes.
Yep.
And to people that are listening and they have girlfriends who have kids that are not typical in certain areas, that doesn't mean they can't be invited.
Oh, absolutely not. And I think I was pretty vocal too. Like I was very careful what not to complain about with certain friends because you never know who you're talking to that's going to say, oh, do I do that? Is she talking to me? And I'm pretty open and I'm very vocal. And so I filtered that down, and not that I wanted to vent all the time, but I tried to figure out what my friends were venting about as moms, typical moms. And I just kind of tried to relate to that. And most of my closest friends all, were never not going to invite us. I mean, last year, my girlfriend had a fashion show birthday party for her daughter where all the little girls had to walk on a stage. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I can't do that. Like, that's going to be like, and so we ended up not being able to make it. But I just remember thinking, I'm going regardless, but I ended up having work. But I just even things like that, like the themes of things these days, and the pumpkin patch, and let's let the kids run around and we can sit and hang out, and so I don't know, I used it as an education tool my life. And so I feel like my friends they just still invite us. I mean, just the other day we got invited to Raging Waters. I'm like, okay, I mean,
But it's so
So
kind that
it
you're still
is. It
invited, and I
is.
think that you love that.
I do. I
Yeah.
really do.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so you and your husband, is this you did a domestic adoption when you adopted your daughter Finley? Is that right?
We did. We did.
And had adoption been something that you guys had thought about for a long time in your marriage, or what did that look like for you guys?
So another thing about me being sort of impatient before this life, I was very how would my friends say it? Fickle. So I would just be like gung ho. I'd hit the ground running when I came up with a new idea. So yes, I mean in theory, my husband and I, when we first started dating, oh, I'd love to adopt one day.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
Right.
That would be cool. Everyone says that, you know.
Uh-huh.
So when I got the fertility call about my first initial, testing, and they said, "Oh yeah, your whatever levels are low. You have what's called diminished ovarian reserve. Um, it's going to be unlikely that you get pregnant naturally, and if you do get pregnant, you'll most likely, miscarry." And so I just gave myself 24 hours to be sad because I knew I was tired from really trying to get pregnant, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, you know what? I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And my husband and I just talked adoption, and neither of us really remember who brought it up first. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
could tell you how in sync on the topic we were. We both were very much felt like, okay, this is it for us. So we prayed about it, and the next day I told my mom that I said, call up the family attorney. Like, he does adoptions. He's actually number 2 in California. So I said, call him up. Like, we want to have a meeting. I want to find out about all these
Mm-hmm.
different types. Cause when you start Googling, you're like, wait, what is this?
A
I can
little
do
overwhelming.
this.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, let's just set up a meeting and go from there. And I basically sat down and it was like, I'd like a baby now. So
It's
no,
like
I'm just kidding.
you're
But
just like, now, the puppy, I need it
I'm like,
today.
what's the fastest way we can get a baby? So everyone, when people tell me like, oh, you did such an amazing thing, I'm like, no, I did a very selfish thing, like that's how I see it anyways. So, yeah, so we just basically, I mean, yeah, it was kind of like it just came up and it looked like to me it was the most appealing option over doing infertility treatments.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so we pushed forward with it.
And then here she is.
And here she is, my amazing girl.
Joy, joy, joy.
Yes.
Okay, so you also were telling me in offline about how you've walked through some hard times even as a young person before you even had a child with special needs or walked through infertility. Your dad was killed tragically. How old were you?
Yes. It was not that long ago. I was 28 actually. It
Okay.
was the first life-changing experience that I've gone through.
Mm.
He had a Christian radio talk show, and he used to be a professional baseball player. So a lot of people, my maiden name, they would say, "Oh, did your dad play baseball?" I mean,
Uh-huh.
almost all my friends' parents, everyone in that
Right.
generation, that he was the, star Cincinnati Reds baseball player, and so pitcher. And so, yeah, so I kind of got used to that. When he became a Christian radio talk show host, he won the national award for basically he was like the most listened to Christian radio host in Southern California,
Mm-hmm.
primetime driving time. So he was a big deal, especially to me. And
Yeah.
so I was just a total daddy's girl. I mean, he was my biggest encourager. He always, anything small, like even just being a hairdresser, he would tell me, you can totally do it. And he had his doctorate, and my brother was a dentist, and I felt like I needed to go to school. And
Mm.
he's like, no, he's like, the key to life is finding what you love and trying to get paid for it. And
Mm.
so he's like, you love hair, like you're ditching class and college to go do
Yes.
your friend's hair. Like you can make money, make it a business,
Right.
And so, I mean, yeah, talk about my biggest cheerleader. So the day that he was hit, he actually had on a professor, and they were talking about the soul and the reality of the soul. And that movie, Proof of Heaven,
Mm-hmm.
they were talking about that, and just how when you're in a coma, God, how beautiful is it that God can let you see a glimpse of heaven.
Mm.
And so, um, 3 hours later,
That day he had that
that
conversation.
day, that day, and he literally said, you guys all know I drive a motorcycle, right? At any moment, I could be spread all over the 210 freeway. Someone could just come into my carpool lane, my lane. But that's not me. That's my body parts. That's not my soul. And so, yeah, 3 hours later, on the same freeway, and a lady, a drowsy driver, crossed over 2 lanes into the carpool lane and hit him. And he was they resuscitated him at the scene. I mean, it's a whole very tragic story. It could take me all day to tell you, but he was airlifted and he was resuscitated at the scene, and he spent 4 weeks in a coma. And it was just so weird to hear his voice saying these things. And so it was very it tested my faith a lot, just saying like, wow, why is this message here? Like, why did he say this? What is God trying to show me? Sorry, I'm like uncontrolled. No. But it was just really, it just got me to listen to God. And so, I mean, if you've ever been in the hospital for 4 weeks in a row, you learn that patience is truly a virtue.
And you've already said that you're not the best with the patience.
No. And so I was literally, I had been praying for patience because we were trying to get pregnant during that time. And so I'm like, well, they say never pray for patience, Yeah. And so I'm like, did I do this? And I know I did it. And I know God had a huge plan for my dad's life. And he passed away as a result, and he had a traumatic brain injury. And so I got really acquainted with the hospital, the ICU, and talking with neurosurgeons. So when we met with our birth parents, and they told us, I mean, fast forward, months and months later, and they told us that, we have, she's due September 20th. I did the math, and I'm like, oh my God, the baby was conceived the week my dad died.
Oh my gosh, that just gave me chills.
I know. And it was so emotional, and I feel so hokey.
Not just the week of the year, but literally that week.
That week. If you do the math, it's between, it was like between the 15th and the 22nd. He died the 17th, right in the middle. And so I just thought that's kind of crazy. And I had so many conversations with him saying, if we have a little girl, we want to name her Finley, because he was like trying to, what do I got to do to get you guys to have some kids?
Right,
and I didn't want to tell him we were struggling.
Yeah, I know,
and so I'm like, well, I do know we'll name her Finley. And I just remember him saying it over and over, and he loved the name. So I knew when they told us it was a girl, I was like, oh, we're naming her Finley. And my dad's name was Frank. And whenever I spell her name on the phone, which is a lot because I'm talking to lots of different doctor's offices who don't understand the name Finley, I always say F as in Frank. Yeah. And I just feel like it's the way that I can connect him with her, you know. And so she was born, and she has the craziest little F vein on her forehead, which to me is like her little Harry Potter mark. And I just kind of feel like God's had his way of showing us that he is real. And I've just trusted him with everything moving forward.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to sit down and tell someone that's not a believer that. And I just sound hokey, I know, but if you walked through all of it, as even just my husband, it made his faith grow stronger because he saw it all firsthand. Yeah. And I don't know what God's using us for, but to me, I just am going to keep saying yes. Yeah. I'm going to say yes to it all. If I feel asked to do something, I'm going to say yes.
Well, and I think too, just hearing you tell the story and talk about your dad, I mean, what a legacy even that is for Finley. I mean, just like how you related, like telling him her name and all those things that happened way before she was even there. Yeah. But it's this connecting point that you have between the two of them. Man, so when he was in the coma, did you ever get to have a moment where you said bye or anything?
Yeah. So, about right around the 4 week mark, or 3 week mark, they had started talking about moving him into a different facility because, after you're in a coma for 2 weeks, you experience what's called coma vigil, and the longer you're in the coma, the worse it is,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. I mean,
Yeah.
some people stay on life support 8, 9 years and wake up. Those are the stories you'll Google search, but
Right. And
that's
that you cling
very
to.
rare.
Yeah.
And I kept telling myself, and I have a journal. I kept a journal the whole time that he was in. Every day I wrote a letter to him just in case he woke up. Um, I said, in order for his words to have power, what he said about the soul and body parts, he needs to pass away. Like,
Mm-hmm.
in order for that to really have a lot of clout,
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of felt like it started to become more and more apparent that God really was using that tool, because I can't even tell you how many people reached out to our family that were so empowered by those words, or touched, and it was just obvious that God was working in that. And
Mm-hmm.
so we just kind of started saying, like, in his will, he had said, he didn't want to be kept alive by extraordinary means.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what was happening. And so we were just like, oh my gosh, my mom's going to have to make a horrible decision
Yeah.
soon. And we don't want that to happen. And so let's just pray that God just take him
Mm-hmm.
and relieve it, because his brain injury was so severe, he wouldn't wake up and be himself unless it was a miracle. And
Right.
we just started getting the sense that God's plan was to take him.
Mm.
So they said, well, with his heart being as strong as he did, even if we took him off life support, he would potentially breathe on his own. He was breathing fairly kind of well, and he
Mm-hmm.
needed assistance. But his heart was just really strong. And so
Mm-hmm.
our pastor came in and prayed over him, and we all kind of, I had already said, like, it's okay, Dad, like, you can let go. And we never really had like a moment where we thought he was going to wake up, or he even
Mm-hmm.
seemed close. He just seemed like he was totally sleeping,
Yeah.
and every bone in his body was broken. He needed very, very many surgeries, but he
Mm.
didn't look like it. He just
Yeah.
looked like he was sleeping. So he was like preserved,
Mm-hmm. Mm.
and so our pastor came in and just said a prayer, and we told him that our wish that he would just get to go home to God, and he ended up having a cardiac arrest right after that
Can you
prayer that our pastor did.
can you say
And it
what
was just
can you
it was so crazy, because they had literally just told us his heart was so strong. So it was just like, it's a total God thing again.
so he had a cardiac
It's like, how
arrest
do you
right after
explain
that
that?
prayer.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
And we weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
Our pastor told us.
Mm-hmm.
The nurse called him back in after he left the room.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom rushed down to the facility, and yeah, we got to say goodbye. I had never seen a dead body before,
Mm-hmm.
so it was awful.
Well, I tell
But there
you,
was some peace about it.
yeah, yeah. Which I think is hard to explain to someone who doesn't have the faith, that there
Yeah,
can be peace in that moment. And just
there
listening you
is.
talk about your dad, it just seems like, man, what and I say this as an outsider who didn't walk through this in your shoes. What an honor, that God used your dad in so many wonderful ways, even through his death.
Yeah,
Like he didn't
yeah.
stop using your dad. Um, the day he got hit by the motorcycle. He continued to, and I would even guess that he's still using your dad's story, to
Yeah.
change people's lives today, which is
Yes.
amazing. And through you guys,
Yeah.
through you guys.
I hope so. I mean, I feel like, what else is our purpose, and why else
Right.
has God
Yeah.
put us through all these things where people look at us and they go, I can't believe you do that. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
so used to hearing that now. I don't know how anyone lives otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, what would be the purpose? Like, we have to
Yeah,
have
I don't
purpose for
know.
all this
Yeah,
madness.
exactly.
Yeah.
Purpose in the pain. That's what
Yeah.
I say.
Yeah.
Purpose in the pain.
That's awesome. Hey guys, before we get back to my conversation with Christina, I want to thank another one of our sponsors for the show, and that is Pine Cove. I want to tell you more about Pine Cove camps. I've talked about Pine Cove on the show before, but in case you missed it, Pine Cove is an awesome Christian summer camp with youth camps and family camps in East Texas Central Texas, and soon to be opening in 2017, a brand new family camp in South Carolina. Hey moms, if you've ever dropped your kids off at camp in the summer and wish that you could stay, Pine Cove Family Camp is for you. This is the ultimate, all-inclusive, intentional trip together that your family needs. Be refreshed with all the fun activities of summer camp. Stay in not your typical camp cabins and spend a week next summer investing in your family's spiritual growth. The Ivey family has been to family camp before, and it has been so phenomenal for my children. My kids loved it so much. Spots for next summer will fill up fast. So guys, check out pinecove.com/familycamp. Do that today and learn more all about it. And now, back to my conversation with Christina. Okay, to switch to a different subject.
Okay.
You
a happy one.
Well, just different. You say that you and your husband love to watch good TV shows. And so
Yes,
I
we
was just telling my
do.
girlfriends last night, I'm at a loss. Like, I am at a severe loss of what to watch. And so I need you to give me some of your best shows.
Okay. Well, right now, we're actually watching The Sopranos. I had never
I've never
seen
done
it.
it either.
Oh my gosh, girl. It is so awesome. Like, if you can get past like the datedness of it for like the first few seasons, it gets so awesome. So, Sopranos for sure. We are doing, we do a lot of reality shows like Top Chef, Big Brother.
Yes.
I love my housewives.
Which one do you watch?
What I didn't hear you.
Which housewives do you watch?
Oh, I love Orange County.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I feel like I'm like, oh, I've been there. I know
Right.
where they're at.
Yeah,
I don't know why that makes it like more fun. But
Yeah.
actually, I'm really excited. At the end of September, I booked a hair and makeup session with one of the Orange Counties of housewives. I can't say which one, but
Okay.
I'm really excited. This is opening a lot of doors for our beauty business that my girlfriend and I started.
Oh, so you're doing her hair and makeup.
Yes, I'm so excited.
So fun. So what's your business that you have?
It's called Privé Beauty Group, and we do hair and makeup for special events, and we do weddings all over Southern California.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I always say that if I had just like money that I could just throw away every single day, the best thing would be to have someone do my hair a couple times a week.
Oh, I feel the same exact way.
I mean, because I just cannot muster the strength to get a blow dryer out these days. I mean, I just can't even handle it.
I'm an air dryer all the way, and I'm like, then put some dry shampoo in it, and then throw a couple curls in it. And
call it a day.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so those are shows. Have you
Exactly.
seen Stranger Things?
Yeah, we could not stop. Literally, we stayed up all night one night watching.
Okay, this is hilarious because I sat down last night and I like to watch TV at night after kids go to bed.
Yes.
And my problem though is I'm not just watching TV. I'm answering emails.
Yes.
So it gets a little hard if I have to pay really deep attention to the show because I can't. And so I turned on Stranger Things and I texted my friend Noelle and I was like, this is so weird. Like, I'm not scared. I just think it's weird.
Yes.
She said, keep going.
You stopped?
No, I literally stopped. I don't even remember what I turned on, but I stopped.
Keep going. So I'm the same way. Like, my phone's always in my hand. My poor husband, he's always like, he told me just even this morning, he's like, every time I look at your face, you're looking down at your phone. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to work on this. So I'm like setting like work hours for myself.
Yes.
But I love answering emails. I just love it. Like, I don't know. I love relating with people. But anyway, okay. So, Stranger Things, before I knew it, I didn't even know where my phone was. And I was like sitting on the edge of my seat. Like, I was so sucked in. And Stranger Things is amazing. But The Night Of is also Netflix. Incredible show.
The Night Of.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It will suck you in, and it has that kind of psychological thriller vibe to it, and it's definitely, I think it's like rated R for sure, but I mean it's really awesome. Okay. Very, very thrilling show.
We just have not been getting into any TV shows lately. I think the summer just killed us because what you'll come to find out in about 10 years is my kids stayed up late.
Oh, yeah.
And so we used to have like all kids in bed at 7:30, and then we would have our own little like 4-hour date night, watching TV, making nachos. And now this summer, especially my 12-year-old, I mean, he went to bed sometimes after I did.
Oh,
So I'm like,
wow.
hey, husband, remember when we used to watch TV together? No more. I
Wow.
know, it's
Oh,
crazy.
that makes me sad.
I know it'll happen one day to you. That sweet Finley will be staying up late.
Oh, man.
Okay, well, I want to know, are you a reader?
I I do normally.
Okay.
However, I know I when I saw your email, like, questions I might throw at you at the end, I'm like, I read emails.
Or like People
But no,
Magazine.
I just started Battlefield of the Mind. My girlfriend had it sent to me. It's by Joyce Meyer. So she
Okay.
said it really helped her kind of just control her thoughts,
Uh-huh.
and so I'm anxious to get into it. I don't know when probably when we're in the hospital with Finley,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Okay, well, good. What
yeah.
3 things are you loving?
Well, um, right now I am loving my probiotics that I take.
Ooh.
I have never felt more like good. I've been on them for like about 3 months now.
Uh-huh.
Love my probiotics. I really love my mascara right now. I am so excited. I actually found a really good one. It's Katy Perry's white tube of like cheap mascara. It's
Katy Perry
amazing.
has mascara.
Yes. I was like, I need to get some, and I really just don't feel like spending, $13 on one. So I'm
Right.
like, I'm just gonna grab one when I'm at Target, and oh my gosh, love it.
Okay, the best. I just got my
Um,
eyelashes done, and so I don't even wear mascara.
Oh, I love doing that too, but it's so expensive. I'm like, I do that if we're going on like
I
vacation and
know.
I
I
want to
have a
like
couple things coming
treat
up that
myself.
it was worth it for me. So yeah.
What
Okay, so
else do
your
I love?
probiotics and your mascara.
Hmm. I love LuLaRoe. I just discovered it.
I do too. One of my best girlfriends sells it, and I just am constantly getting stuff from her. What do you love about it?
The Carly's. I'm gonna live in a Carly, I think, this fall.
I don't have one yet because she doesn't have any yet in. And I literally text her.
Oh,
She's like told me to stop. I'm like, Laura, do you have any Carly's? And she's like, Jamie, I told you I would tell you when I do.
oh my gosh,
Stop
I'm
asking me.
obsessed. Yes, I
Do
just
you?
got we had a fundraiser. These sweet girls with 2 LuLaRoe shops joined together. I mean, their inventory was insane, and they were like, "We want you to pick out an item," and I'm like,
Aw.
"Are you serious? That is so sweet." I was like crying as I like held my orange Carly in my
Aw.
hands. I'm like, this is so sweet.
That is so fun. And do you
Yes.
have any of their leggings?
Yeah, I do. I just got my first pair of those too. So I'm actually sitting in them right now.
I tell
I
everybody,
feel like I'm naked.
yes, yes. But what I do in those leggings is like when I work from home, and so if there's a couple days where I'm not leaving the house, I kid you not, I will sleep in them and wear them all day, and it's just
Oh,
the best thing in the world.
I can totally see that happening. I'm
Hmm.
like, are these work appropriate?
I
I
know, right?
maybe.
I'm a fan of the Lululemon leggings for sure.
Yes, me
Um,
too. I got Finley a little pair, so I'm
ah,
excited.
those are so cute.
Yes.
Okay, so you mentioned surgery for Finley. Is that something you can talk about?
Yeah,
Okay, what's
absolutely.
happening?
So it's sort of what like we gained a lot of I don't know, followers from people that are seeing our Dare to Dance challenge. And that is a fundraiser campaign for this life-changing surgery that we were made aware of earlier this year. And Finley was receiving Botox in her legs to reduce spasticity so that she could bear weight and balance.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people just keep going Botox, 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 Botox every 3 months. And then every time they get it, their kid hits a new milestone.
Mm.
And while I do think she would eventually walk, she would be so dependent on Botox. And our pain management specialist that does her Botox, he says, we don't want to just like make this habit of keep doing it. It's like kind of putting a band-aid on a big thing. There's this
Right.
thing called the selective dorsal rhizotomy. They do it in St. Louis, Missouri. And it's a spine procedure done by a neurosurgeon. And they go in and they clip the nerves that are in the spine. And it basically is like permanent Botox. It gets rid of the spasticity in the legs.
Okay.
And I had Googled it and I had asked one of our other doctors about it. And he was like, oh, they don't do that anymore. That's a thing of the past. They haven't done that since the 80s.
Uh-huh.
Then you, of course, find a Facebook group for it
Uh-huh.
and see that it is a miracle surgery, and there are hundreds of people getting it done a month, kids, children.
Wow.
And I'm like, why don't you know about this? Like, why in every doctor we go to, this should be somewhere. People should know about this if they have a child with spastic diplegia or are living with spastic diplegia. They should know about this. So I waited till we got our surgery date, and then I'm like, okay, now we can tell everybody about it, because there was a waiting list.
Yeah,
for
and you're like,
it.
I don't want anyone to get in front of me.
I'm like, I don't want any more competition for this surgery. But yeah, so now I'm like, I'm such an advocate for the surgery. I mean, even the parents that are like, you know what, my kid's not walking, they're doing so much better with the milestones that they actually are at, and eventually they will be walking. And so it's just a matter of building up that muscle tone now that the spasticity will be gone.
Got it. And so that's your hopeful outcome, is that when that's gone, the walking will then come in.
Well, the doctor, he gives a really good guesstimate. So any email I get from a mom that's like, well, it wasn't our miracle, but the doctor sort of warned us about that, you know. He said, oh, my child would sleep better, or oh, my child will crawl better, sit better, those sorts of things. Those did happen. But the doctor told us, oh, I'm very confident Finley will walk on most surfaces. And so he underestimates. So when I told my girlfriend, whose daughter had a huge success with the surgery, she's like, oh, that means Finley's going to be running down the street, you know. And I'm like, So, I mean, we have a lot of hope.
Yeah.
We have a lot of hope, because honestly, it comes down to the spasticity, but it also comes down to how much you're able to work with your child. And I am like her little fitness coach.
Yeah.
So it's like,
that's awesome.
we are determined, and she's determined. So I just know it's going to be amazing.
So is this what your Dare to Dance challenge is?
Yes.
Okay. So tell us what that is.
We launched it July 11th. And basically, you just record yourself dancing, and ideally,
this could be bad.
Yeah, there are so much fun videos.
Oh,
you can do your kids dancing, yourself dancing, car dancing, whatever. And you can either have the Meghan Trainor song, which is called "Better When I'm Dancing."
Yeah.
You can have that on and dance to it, and then you post it and you say, I took the Dare to Dance challenge. Now I'm daring you. And it helps if you tag people specifically, and just say, you know, you have 24 hours to post your dancing video, or you must donate, you know, $20 to doyoudaretodance.com. And that actually goes into Finley's surgery fund. So we've had some really amazing things, like a couple of the girls out that are on the Bachelor in Paradise did it, the twins, Perez Hilton. We had some of the Kings players.
That is so awesome.
A couple hospitals. Yeah, it's been really cool to see like everyone that's like actually reaching out and doing a video, and a couple of like I was totally fangirling over a couple of the Insta famous little girls that I saw doing it. Yeah. So it's been really just a cool experience to connect with people and dance, you know. Who doesn't love everyone
to dance?
Was laughing.
Yes, it's so much fun.
Yes.
Oh, that is so awesome. The other day I was at a dinner party, and afterwards we're like, hey, we'll help you clean up the kitchen. And we put on Justin Timberlake, and we just danced the whole time we cleaned, and it was so much fun.
So awesome. I love it.
It just went so much faster, and we had fun. And then by the time it was over, we kind of worked out and did the dishes at the same time.
Yes, you did.
Oh, okay.
I love it.
Christina, this has been so fun to have you on the Happy Hour.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry I was like a crying mess on your happy hour.
You were telling a story about your daddy. Oh my gosh.
Oh, thank you so much. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for sharing all you did. And I'm going to put all the links, all the fundraisers, all that kind of stuff up on the show notes, jamieivey.com, so you guys can find it there. So Christina,
awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was so great, meeting you.
E-meeting you. I love that. Online. This is 2016. A lot of our friends are online, right?
Right. I e-meet everyone.
So great. Y'all, wasn't that a great chat with Christina? I'm so glad I have her as a new friend. It's just so fun to find new friends in the world. I loved her tenderness towards life when she was talking about her daddy. I don't know if you could tell. Like, I hardly get myself together. I know that some of you are probably crying as well. I also loved her urgency towards life as well. And when she told stories about just wanting things to happen now. I'm so glad that you got to meet her. And guys, I would highly encourage you to head on over to her blog and find out about all the ways that you can follow her and cheer her and her husband and Finley on in their journey and her health and her surgery that's coming up. Guys, thanks so much for listening. Just like always, every single thing we talk about, you're going to be able to find links for it over my webpage. It's jamieivey.com. Anything you might need to know. If you're listening, you think, oh my gosh, what is that book? What is that TV show? What is the link to her fundraiser? No worries, guys. We've done all the work for you. jamieivey.com is where you can find all of that. This weekend is the Happy Hour Live event. If you're listening to this at the beginning of September of 2016, I am beyond excited to see some of you ladies come to my house and be here for the show. The guests are Emily Lex from Jones Designs and Jessie Artigue. They've both been on the show before. They're both phenomenal women, and I cannot wait for you guys to get to meet them. And I can't wait for you to eat my husband's tacos because he has been practicing at our house, and they're phenomenal. Guys, if you want to know about the events that the Happy Hour puts on, you can go to jamieivey.com/events, and they'll always be listed there. Right now, we don't have any coming up, but we have something planned in the works for January, so we will keep you in mind for that. Guys, today's show is edited by Logan Garza, and the music is from Jason Poe. Next week, my guest is Krista Black-Gifford, and we had such an interesting conversation. You're not going to want to miss that. Guys, enjoy your week. Share the show with a girlfriend. Oh my gosh, so many of you come up to me and say, I love the show so much, and I tell all my girlfriends about it. And I just want to hug you and kiss you and say thank you, thank you, thank you. Guys, enjoy your week. Share the show with a girlfriend and have a happy hour with a friend.